just say your name and say that
Sure.
you give us permission to
Oh, my name
use
is
your
Elizabeth
likeness?
Marangadakis.
I'm Karma Johnson. I live here at 425 Grand Avenue, on the corner of Putnam Avenue. This is my 16th year living in this building, rent stabilized. The building was purchased by some foreign investors in February. This is the third owner that we've had since I've been here. This company is called Coastline Real Estate Investors. They are based in California, but it turns out that the parent company that owns them is some sort of multinational, I think Germany-based conglomerate that's doing real estate speculation and development, just trying to make as quick and dirty a profit as possible.
This leak in the roof that's been here for I don't know how long, maybe 10 years, maybe more. I'm not sure if it's repaired, but in the last couple of days, because there was, I guess, a series of investors coming through here yesterday, all of this was repainted, all the gold, all the white, all the black mold or whatever it was.
This parcel of 4 buildings, which they bought for $38 million, and I think they closed on the deal in like February, March, is one of the last and largest blocks of stabilized apartments in this part of Brooklyn. And so, and the buildings are really old, pre-war buildings with good bones. So they're looking at this as an opportunity, to snatch this and flip it all. So one of the things that they've been doing is taking apartments that used to be 1 or 2 bedrooms, knocking down walls illegally. So for instance, one of the things I've experienced in my apartment is the sound of raining rocks, which is the inside of the walls of my apartment crumbling as the apartment above mine is being demolished and redone. We were notified that, the ownership has been transferred. This is your new landlord, send the rent to them. They have sent false arrears notices to people whose rent is already paid. They sent me a notice saying, you owe us this much money, and the amount was not the amount that corresponds to my actual lease, because you sign either the 1 or the 2 years, so they had the wrong one, and it was a rent check that they had already cashed. So they're doing this, and they're doing this to the elders. There's a young lady who lives on this floor who is developmentally disabled. They went into her apartment, and the representative of the corporation signed her name on a document because she was like, oh, if you can't do it, I'll do it for you. Literally, this level of fraud. This is a woman who legally has a proxy who deals with her official business because she's not, and doesn't have that capacity to do so.
I know from speaking to tenants that things like dripping sinks and broken tiles and other issues have not been taken care of.
I've been a part of the Tenants Association in previous years. This is right now the 3rd sort of incarnation of it, and there are 2, besides myself, 2, 3, there's about 5 or 6 of us who've been here, probably I would say over a decade or so, who've seen the other iterations of the Tenants Association. So we've tried it a few times. We've discussed doing an HP action. The HP action is when you go as a tenant association to the civil court of Kings County, in this case, and demand that the landlord address repairs and other issues. It has been successful at other buildings. We're aware of our neighbors, for instance, down the street on the corner of Gates and Grand. That building just had a major protest action, I think that was successful. And there are other cases that we know of, but we haven't had a successful court case in this building. So I'd like to thank the de Blasio administration for doing the relative rent freeze for the stabilized leases in the city. I think they kept it to 1% this year after that decade of doing Bloomberg doing 8% a year. So yay, keep it there for another decade, then we might get back to even.